Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You folks do need to listen carefully. It's emergency kind of broadcast, so keep up with me. I only kind of figured out what I need to do to educate you people. So here goes. 3 days ago, Lebanon, Lebanon in the Middle East, um, essentially said they're bankrupt. Okay, which is not a big surprise. Although I am light in my words, and rather than full of, you know, fire and brimstone, I'm going to just explain it to you gently as I can. An entire country, when it goes bankrupt, what they're basically going to say, or say what they are actually saying to you in factual terms, is that the entire nation of Lebanon, foreign held accounts, foreign held interests, are all liable for that bankruptcy. Because the state itself, which is an artificial entity called a person, states are considered persons from the word persona, and the people are the ones that are backing the securities and the credit for the corporation calling itself the state person. This type of information can be found on my previous broadcast this week. But what is more important is that bankruptcies on an international scale, on a global scale, like Greece and so many of the other countries like Argentina, is all engineered. And that engineering is so simplistic, it will challenge your confabulations. That is your 101 ways that you try to analyze without any answers, pretending that you know when you don't know. And I'm being very direct with you. So, this education program is for my subscribers, my Tricks and Traps University students, and the rest of them, whether they are direct or indirect. For the newcomers that are new to this channel, you may not, I don't want to express it negatively, so let me express it in better ways. There will be words used here now that may be alien to you. Because of this, it is in your interest to just look up those key words that you do not understand or comprehend or not cognizant of and educate yourself. Because what I'm about to tell you is how the reaping mechanism works. The whole engineering of a 99-year lease, whether it's banking or on a land under the feudal system, is to be able to put the people themselves such a position that the monies in their pocket, the usually fiat currency, has so little value they cannot pay off their mortgages and their so-called, leases, rents, and so on and so forth. In other words, the money in their pocket has reduced so much value because of the money printing, which inevitably leads up to bankruptcy. That is engineered. What is the next stage of that is the cannibalism that is going to take place. The cannibalism is very simple. The IMF, the international banks, and the central banks, which are all one and the same word, working globally, the Federal Reserve Bank, their sole purpose of their creation was to put you in an impossible situation called bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means the rupturing of your bank. Okay, so your banks are being ruptured, as it were, in Lebanon, okay? That means the counts that the Lebanese people have, as well as the foreign interests that have accounts in Lebanon, are all in their custody. That's what customer means, that you are in their custody. And those monies are there so they can be zeroed out. When the private banks do this, because the Federal Reserve Bank, central banks, they're all private, what they have done is removed 99 years of your life and your ancestry's life, what they call heritage, not inheritance, but heritage, for 99 years away from you. So all those things that your grandparents worked for, and your mothers before them, are all going to be sucked out by this private group, leaving you with nothing except a worthless dollar, as it were. What I'm saying to you is that the bureaucratic mechanism of cannibalism is called the central bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, who in their own booklets have openly told you, we will devalue the money in your pocket so much that you cannot pay off your rents or your homes or your businesses, where we're going to put you in such a useless position by just simply printing so much of the money that the money on the back of the money that you have in your pocket, that the money in your pocket no longer can buy what it bought, say, 2-3 years ago. You've seen it happen, and you're witnessing it, especially in the Americans, who have seen extraordinary amounts of inflation, the numbers of which are best understood by yous, because you guys are the ones that are, witnessing this. Let me say it once more. The mechanism of cannibalism is to put you in a position where the money in your pocket can no longer pay for anything. When this happens, your bank accounts, as it has been already done in Lebanon, is actually in their custody, which means the money that your mothers and your fathers and your ancestors, your heritage worked for, is now in somebody else's custody, that you can't actually get it out, even though they're only offering like 20 cents on the dollar. Even then, they're offering it in the Lebanese currency. I think it's called the lira. I may be mistaken about that. This event, and I hope that I have successfully communicated to you the mechanism of cannibalism. That is, the mechanism of how you actually catch another man or a woman, slaughter their lives, so a small group of privateers, known as private banks, can feed on their blood, their flesh, and their ancestry. That is quite important. That process has been in place, or has matured since 2008. And they've been living on borrowed time by inflating the economy, hence the house prices, the cars. You see, everything is inflated by percentages of hundreds. I mean, it's just quite extraordinary, but you are witnessing it. Even that inflation has not paid off, because the end result will always be that they will suck your life, your blood, out of you. That is what they're there for. That is always been their sole purpose. So if you are in the mind to listen to all those garbagey people, sorry about the colloquialism, all that garbage people on YouTube talking about the Federal Reserve has lost control, the Federal Reserve is trying to do this, the Federal Reserve is doing exactly what it planned to do over 100 years ago, which is to collapse the dollar so it has little or no value in your pocket. You understand what I have said? So when you hear those billionaires and millionaires talking out of their backsides, which they're very good at, they're lying to you. What they're omitting to say is that the US dollar, the Federal Reserve Bank, was always created to zero your account, to keep you in a perpetual state of servitude. This is why, for wanting for a better word, your saviors created Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency as well as the blockchain. So you may not fall into this trap on a global scale. Because of this, for myself, because I see no other inevitability, no other possibility rolling out, Bitcoin is going to be the store of value. What is my rationale behind that? You see, I can't put it into dollars and I can't put it into pounds, even though the pound is fairly well insulated from the outside world. Yeah, they've done a good job of insulating themselves from the madness that's about to ensue globally. Because Bitcoin is there, people are not going to psychose, as it were. But fiction people will always be fiction people. There's nothing we can do about that. What I'm saying to you is this. I can buy as much gold as I want and silver and copper. Storage is a problem. Always is. Can't keep it at home because it's too vulnerable. Okay, but it has to be kept somewhere. That's one. So what is the other options? Looking at it in a process of denominations, a process of elimination and common denominators. What is the best store of value? I can't put it in lira. I can't put it in Lebanon. I can't put it, and the list would go on where I can't put it. But where can I put it? Where that store of value will have full custody by me and me alone. And if I wish to take it to the grave, I will. And that's Bitcoin. That is Bitcoin. Okay, the store of value with proof of work, with an open ledger system, as well as your private keys in place, called crypto. In crypto means it's been encrypted, so you can't crack it. Because of this Lebanon situation, and US is already in the situation, is that the mass migration from central banking, what they call DeFi, has already started well over several years ago. The general public have yet to cordon on to the power of Bitcoin and blockchain. What I am broadcasting today for my 96 or 90 something thousand subscribers, as well as my students and direct students and indirect students, and anybody else that wish to partake, is that you are now more vulnerable and more liable than ever before. This liability that I'm speaking about is in the all powers of attorney that you signed when you even bought a credit card or got a store card or when you hired a car. They all came with the full powers of attorney, which means you are not in custody, not even of your children. In addition to that, you are the security, bonded security for the nation states of your country. You are actually the bonded slaves for that, because energy can really only come from men and women and not companies. Open up a company, it will tell you man and woman has to put the money in first for it to have value. Then you give life, then you give half-life or semi-life to that corporation. That's called humanity. The humanities that people study, they are not about people. Humanities is about the study of corporate entities interacting with other corporate entities. Your entire brain system is operating as a corporation and moving around as a corporation. Yes, it's that simple, and I don't wish to qualify it now because it's already been done many a times. The universities, the colleges, the schools are programming you and have been programming you for over 100 years to maneuver, think, behave, conduct like a corporate entity called human or persona. As a result, 99% of the world's population still is not exactly aware what Bitcoin is. You understand what I'm saying? That is how strong the programming is. That means nearly 99% of the world's population, and the numbers are getting less, of course it is, simply do not know that there is another store of value that they must use. They still think in terms of copper, gold, dollars, etc. All of these things have always, always been programmed to zero out. Eventually, ladies and gentlemen, the dollar has to be gold back. Eventually, it will have to show proof of work, whether you like it or not. In Europe, they tried to ban proof of work. In other words, the money in your pocket, you don't need to prove that you earned it. You could have just printed it out from your printing machine, but you don't need to show proof of work. If you don't show proof of work, then your money is worthless. If you haven't worked for that £50, dollars, euros, pesos, liras or whatever, then it's worthless printed money. You did not put proof of work into it. They've already tried to do that in Europe. Okay, this is how effed up these freaks are in your world. I think I have explained myself. This is the news, okay, about it, and it's already 3-4 days old. Read about it and understand the global consequences of it. Just like the failure for the Greeks and the Argentinians not to pay attention to this sort of stuff. Okay, that is that. I'm showing you here what a surety bond is, and that you are essentially the guarantor of your state, your nation state, as it were. Okay, and that tells you in detail how that works. And if you want more explanations, there's more explanations there. Why am I showing you this? So you can qualify what is happening. Okay, power of attorney. This is when you've turned over all decision powers to your third party called a lawyer. That includes which organs should be harvested from your body. I am not exaggerating. I am to the point. How your babies should be fed, educated. You handed all that over. Look, there are dire consequences, especially you Americans and the world at large, when you foolishly, and I've got to say it, when you foolishly thought that the commies are coming, that the Yardis are coming, and then, of course, in 2001, that the Muslims are coming. They made a fool out of you. This is who you are dealing with. This is not the species of man. This is a subspecies that does that. Look, bail-ins and bails out. Either way, you lose unless you're able to reverse the situation. Unless you reverse the situation. And most times it only takes a thumbprint and an autograph to do that. I never mentioned signature, and I didn't mention seal. Your thumbprint, autograph can normally deal with it. Look, on Sunday, Alex put a fantastic program together on what you and I come to understand as narcissists and psychopaths. The banking system, the Templar, the inner Templar, inner temple, all these people, Bar Association, these are all working on psychopathic and narcissistic bureaucracies of cannibalism. Okay, and this program is unique insofar as it gives you solutions. The rest only deal with mitigations of the damages that they cause. I'm not talking about financial here, I'm talking about psychologically. If you don't identify the bureaucracies individually, globally, banking, whatever it is, how they are operating, you will always be a victim to them. I'm letting you know this is available. Another thing you've got to ask yourself is that why is this fiction witnessing a live life claim? This is a certificate of live birth. Why is Elizabeth II witnessing it? And why haven't you got a certificate of live birth or even a live life claim? Please understand, nobody can witness your live life claim unless they've known you for many years. If you're getting it from people that don't know what they're doing, then it's just worthless pieces of paper. A stranger cannot be a witness to something which he has no first-hand knowledge of. Which bit of this do I need to paraphrase? Your homes globally are now at complete and utter risk. For those students of mine that already understand these things, they are safe. And I'll come on to other things later on if you're going to have trouble, and you will have trouble. If you need to know 100% proof in just three continents, that's all I did here, but it's actually global. It will show you, even if you've paid off your mortgage outright, you're still a tenant. You actually are a tenant in a house that you've paid off completely. That's a very expensive tenancy. Okay, I didn't know I would have to pay like £800,000 or dollars or whatever it is for a 25-year rental system. Yeah, that's a lot of bloody money, and plus rent on top. This is from Australia. This is from England. This is from US. In fact, there's several there from the US. I think I have explained myself. I'm kind of these days I'm kind of weary, and being confident as whether I conveyed my language correctly or not. This is because I don't see very much changes outside in the street. I actually don't see it. People look and talk as dumb as ever previous to the corona period. Yeah, that shocks me. 2 years staying at home and reflecting, and the best that they can do is still talk and do exactly what they've done before, which means mankind has not evolved. Yes, there is huge patterns of work behavior. There's more people educated, but the percentage are so small, so small. And that percentage is who men and women are. The rest are humans called monsters. You now know how much it all makes sense. I got to explain this to you. Anybody with a criminal record globally, this is not just the US, but the US is the easiest to find, is listed as a bonded slave. Okay, and that lasts for 11 years. But just listen, penal labor in the United States, that's the corporation practicing penal labor. What is McDonald's doing practicing? It's because they've got you walking, talking like corporations. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the people that you are looking at outside, inside, they are walking, talking McDonald's franchises. I hope you have understood the significance of this. If it talks like one, if it behaves like one, if it conducts itself like one, then it must be a bloody corporation. If a man speaks like a corporation, conducts himself like a corporation, handles corporate instruments, signs in a corporate instrument way, it is a corporate instrument. If a man behaves and conducts himself like a thief, a liar, and that is what he is, he's telling you, and that is what the world is telling you, that they are all walking, talking corporatives, sorry, cooperations, cooperation. I'm running out of words here. They're basically saying that they are franchises. Okay, company franchises. That's why they keep calling their wife their partner. That's not your partner, that's your lover, that's probably your mother. Yeah, that's why the wife keeps calling her husband the husband. Husband is a corporate instrument word. It means animal husbandry. That's what it means. Okay? Give up this language. Flush it down the toilet. All it will do is it will just keep walking and talking you into being a corporate instrument. Is explicitly allowed by the 13th Amendment. Do you remember that analogy? Some animals are more equal than others in Animal Farm. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, not America. It doesn't mention America here at all, or any place subject to their jurisdiction. US has jurisdiction globally. It has an extradition treaty with every single country in the world. Which bit of this do you not understand? Unconvicted detainees waiting trial cannot be forced to participate in labor programs in prison as would violate the 13th Amendment. It's funny quasi language to basically saying if you've got a criminal record, you are a bonded slave. Here they call it explicitly allowed. And that's what the 13th Amendment does. It makes slaves of men. This is why the sheriffs work day and night, day and night, day and night, trying to get as many crimes for simple things as parking tickets. They want to turn a parking ticket into a crime. You're dealing with goddamn psychopaths and narcissists. Which bit of this you must comprehend when it talks like a narcissist, when it behaves like a narcissist, when it does everything that a narcissist and a psychopath is, it is a psychopath. Funny quasi language to say we practice slave trading. And that lasts retrospective for 11 years. And it's got it here, right here. Okay. 12 years, I beg your pardon. 12 years. The state aim at the penal labor. That's penal labor. Look at the pictures. They're using these pictures for a reason. Okay? They're using these pictures for a reason. American Constitution, we the people. Practice penal laboring. When you force somebody to do forced labor, what are they called? If you force somebody to do something, what is it called? Okay? Listen, I'm quite angry at this moment because I'm frustrated that all this message and research I'm doing is just going to deaf ears. Prove me wrong. You're witnessing it. My Tricks and Traps students, 95,000 views on YouTube. You know how the world rolls out. The rest, it's not going to be a very nice life if the rest of them are starving to death or, so bloody confused. It's not going to be a nice world, darling. These things never end well. What do you think will happen when these people find out what they are? Yeah? Some 60% of US prisoners work while incarcerated. The state aim of labor, penal labor. Penal comes from the word to show penance. It's created by the Lord Spiritual and Temporal out of the Houses of Commons. I think I've already explained that to you. That's why I had to take over the Crown copyright. Yeah. This also includes tax slaves, federal prison industry, people that pay taxes, because if you pay taxes as a corporation, you're essentially a corporation. Yeah, and they're telling you Whole Foods, McDonald's, Target, letting you know, all right? If you've got criminal records, this particular one says, sorry, what am I looking at here? So yeah, it's the same information, and I'm sharing these things with you because why other people are not doing this, I do not know. Perhaps the filtering is so profound that we don't get to see it. What is a bearer bond? Look, let's listen to the language. When you're bonded, who bears this? Who bears it? like as in, who you have to bear your own cross. A bearer bond is a bond or debt security. It's a debt security. So if your country is in debt, you are the security issued by a business entity such as a corporation or a government. As a bearer instrument, it differs from, then it goes into a little bit more. Okay? But you can read a little bit more about it. It even will tell you that the difference between the owner and the holder, and as well as the ones that register it, are very different. Sometimes I think to myself, and I really want to share my emotions and my feelings, as it were, is that, have I explained it to you that you are bonded slaves? You know, this is on my website. Like I said, why would Elizabeth, why ain't you got a certificate of live birth? Why you got a birth certificate and this one has got a live birth? And why it's so crucial that you get yourself a live life claim? Yeah. Why you need to actually have a live life claim. And a live life claim can only be witnessed by those people that know you. All right? Hopefully, I have made myself clear. And I was going to show you these things, but you're going to have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, why these are very powerful documents. Without a document, you can't drive. Without a document, you can't travel. Without a document, especially as the Canadians have understood, you can't even buy food. Look, we have been successfully birthed. Let me come out of this. And we have been successfully birthed into the corona period. That statement should be enough to get the ball rolling. Okay? There are many fraudsters out there. Be wary of them. Especially, I'm talking to adults, and I'm going to talk to you as adults. There are many fraudsters out there. That's my kind of disclaimer, if you like. Go through my website, understand these things. In the world of fiction, the end is very close. Okay?